We're going to begin with the Hawks from a footy perspective. You've been hot on them for weeks now. A season in which started with so much promise. It feels like it's beginning to unravel. Is that too dramatic?
Yeah, no, not really. Unravel in terms of winning the premiership. I think you're spot on. Now it's about can they consolidate and try and make the finals. That's where it's fallen to for Hawthorn.
It's gotten that bad.
Yeah, turned up on Friday night. We did, and we were all talking about it. Me, you and Jimmy, actually, and we're talking about, is this the night that Hawthorn turned things around? And they put up a fight for a quarter, and that was it. They fell apart after quarter time. And you look at the drop-off, I think it's just not one thing, but we start with individuals, and there's been a big drop-off in so many, and you look at the red, that's a negative, and I just wonder what Barrass and Battle, I think they should have only taken one of them. And hindsight's not it's just not a hindsight thing. I thought that maybe you put your feelers out for two, and I think they only should have taken one. I think they've overcooked. I don't think they needed both of them. You already had Frosty there.
But we were lauding them earlier in the year, both of them.
I think it's the spin-off. I don't think they're playing well together as a group. And then this is system. So the criticism was they laid 38 tackles, but look at how many tackles they can't even get to because of the system of Collingwood, or the most well-drilled team in the competition, versus a team that is at 6s and 7s where they don't know what to do. Do we come forward? Do we hold back? So they've got a backline who aren't connecting. They've got a midfield, to me, who's, Mackenzie's out of the side. Ward's just not quite up to it. Warple, is he a B grader? Connor Nash, is he a B grader? So with no Will Day, suddenly they've been exposed with too much on Newcombe. And then there's a forward line that suddenly you're going, are they selfish? Do they connect well enough for each other? So there's a number of issues, both system and individually for Hawthorn.
And the disruption of those acquisitions of Barrass and Battle has impacted the captain, James Sicily. There is no dispute about that. Sam Mitchell was very defensive about that. Understandably, we get it. This is him last week. And then you've also got one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest, Lee Matthews, querying the impact he's having.
No, the groins aren't an issue. He's working really hard on his game. I thought he played really well last week. He's the thing about Sis is he's led us really well through. At the moment his leadership has been really strong through the tougher periods in particular. You look at the last couple of years when we've really needed players to stand up, he's often been that guy. So I look at his leadership and I'm really pleased that he's captain of the club and that we've got him doing the things that he's doing. Has he played perfect footy this year? No, of course not, but no one has.
Oh, well, I think when you look at Hawthorn as a collective, individually, Sicily's having a really bad year.
And then you get to the post-match after Friday night's loss, and this is pictures coming out of the Hawthorn rooms. There was an hour-long debrief of sorts, and you can see the captain there. That's understandable given his own form and the 4 disposals he had in that particular game and failure to impact. Jimmy, what do you see when you see James Sicily in 2025 to this point?
Yeah, look, I think you mentioned the additional players, but I think he is one of many players where the opposition's gone to work and it's impacting his game style and that fast ball tempo speed, which I've highlighted a number of times. And Lloyd, you touch on the stuff around the contest. For me, Hawthorn, the opposition's taking the speed out of the game and they're restricting the little easy release marks, which when they get them, they put an incredible amount of speed on the game. And that's why Dylan Moore's not getting as much of the footy. Impey and Amon, of course, rebounding off half-back. Ambrosio is another one. So sides are saying, well, we're going to pick our poison here. We're going to force you to kick long, slow down the line. And where Hawthorn lacking a little bit is key forwards or big guys down the line. So they're taking the speed out of the game. And he's one guy in particular who is struggling a bit when the game is getting slowed down at the moment.
Is he the right captain?
Well, you'd say, last year I thought he stood up really well, Sam. When they weren't going well after 5 rounds, he came on and did an interview with us and he was good. He spoke openly and he had a wonderful season. So it's too soon to say he's not the right captain, but I still feel he's very temperamental. So I don't think sometimes as a captain, he's balanced enough. Even that in the rooms, I don't think as a captain you have your head in your hands after the game.
He's allowed to show emotion.
I think that's not emotion. You've got to be strong for everyone. You get up and you get around and you start talking to others around you.
So it's different as captain.
What I loved about James Hird was I would never have known what day he was having. Whether he was having a poor day or a good day, he was the voice of reason. He was the calmness in the room for us all. And I just wonder with Sicily, I don't think he's a forward, so I think they've got to stop throwing him down there. He's a surprise forward. He's not a starting forward. And I just remember what Geelong did with Tom Stewart last year and how they helped get him back into form. So I just wonder if you get him in the midfield, roll him back, just surprise the opposition with how it's supporting James.
There's more problems than just the captain, isn't there, Dave?
Yeah.
And we do start having conversations when things are going wrong about have they been worked out. Have a listen to a couple of their opponents. First, Brody Myercheck from the weekend, and then the superstar dual Brownlow medalist Lockie Neal.
We knew they were going to try and test our tackles tonight, so we were practicing all week for the little slip of the elbows.
We reviewed sort of their technique on how to draw the higher free kicks. But yeah, we watched a fair bit of tape on them. They've got a few guys that are really high in the competition. I think sort of top 10 for free kicks for high tackles. So we went to work on that, and I thought we executed really well on the weekend.
So as Jimmy and Lloyd have already explained and exposed some of their secrets, other clubs are clearly picking up on what made them such a good team in that run home to the 2024 final series. Have you got a solution for them? Can they change? Because it is hard to change in season, and they need to change by your reports.
Yeah, I think they're far better than what they're showing. So Sam Mitchell, he's been lauded as a good coach. He's been challenged more so than ever before, and I think they can turn it around.
Interesting to look back, Jimmy, as well, on Jack Ginnivan. We know he had a great start on the weekend. I think he kicked 3 in the first half. This is the difference from when he was playing at Collingwood to early days at Hawthorn. And when you look at it and listen to this through the prism of what happened on the weekend, it's fairly interesting.
Collingwood's a very structured system, and it's very hard to be a forward at Collingwood. Sometimes there's a few dark days where, you're just wearing the invisible cloak, but at Hawthorn, which has been so great for me. You're allowed to be free and you can go and change over patterns and stuff, where at Collingwood you're stuck on one side and things like that.
So, Jimmy, Lloydie, one he's talking about freedom and the other one he's talking about system.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win for both. If he likes to play with freedom and he thinks the Hawks give him that freedom, and Collingwood will think, well, we need guys to play their role and structure and be in the positions we want. But what it pans out, Lloydie, for Collingwood is it doesn't matter whose night it is, but someone's going to hit the scoreboard. And Bobby Hill is one who he could kick 4 or 5 or he could set up 4 or 5. And at the moment, the hottest man is Jamie Elliott. So they give him the goal square when he gets the right matchup.
Yeah, just on what he said, though, this is how well Collingwood are going. Hawthorn had one more inside 50 on the night, yet lost by 51 points. So, and that was as much about system as anything. That's how far advanced Collingwood were than Hawthorn. And even Sam Mitchell said that's the spread of goal kickers. They all play their role. Sam Mitchell said Brisbane were good the week before, but what we just played was to another level. And that's just where Collingwood is at, and the full credit to Craig McRae and his coaching staff.